Hi everybody, my name is Lori Trapani and I'm with the Financial Aid Office. Welcome to College Week Live, Paying for College. So I have a short presentation that I'm going to provide to you, and then at any point you can go ahead and ask questions and we'll answer them at the end. So, what is the mission of the Financial Aid Office? Our mission is to provide prospective students and enrolled students with information and resources to financially support their educational goals. Money. The approximate average financial aid package is $18,880. Students receive approximately in scholarship awards $4,478. Grant awards total $15,369, and loans on average $7,801. More than 70% of UC undergraduates receive financial aid. So what are the estimated costs to attend UC Davis? If you're living on campus, your tuition and fees is $13,896, which comes to approximately $4,632 per quarter. We do have mandatory health insurance, so if you don't have your own, you will be on the university's health insurance, and the cost for the year is $1,869 or $623 per quarter. Housing costs are approximately $14,218, which comes to about $4,739. Books and supplies are approximately $1,560, transportation $620, and personal expenses $1,522. Now, if you are a non-resident, you're not a resident of the state of California, you do have an extra tuition that you have to pay on top of that $13,000. And this year, that tuition is $22,878 or $7,626 per quarter. What types of money could you potentially receive to cover those costs? It can be grants, scholarships, or loans. UC Davis scholarships can comprise of the Regents. There's undergraduate scholarships. To find more information on those, you can go out to the Financial Aid Office website, which is financialaid.ucdavis.edu/scholarship/campus. There's also alumni scholarships, and again, you can find that link on the scholarship website. And there's a wide variety of UC Davis scholarships that are provided by various academic departments. Your UC application for admissions also serves as your scholarship application. So when you're applying to admissions, you don't have to do a separate scholarship application to be considered for UC Davis scholarships. Just fill out that admissions app. UC Davis awards close to 2,000 scholarships that you can actually apply for through your application. And then there's a lot of outside scholarships that are available to students. Check with your local high school to learn about their application process. There's various community organizations like Kiwanis or just different clubs within your community that offer scholarships. You'll want to check with them. You can also visit our website, the scholarship, and there is a search engine online to help you research additional outside scholarships. More than 5,000 students were awarded scholarships during the 2013-14 academic year, with close to $19 million paid to undergraduate scholarships. So that's a lot of money if you put forth the effort to research those scholarships. It really can pay. So there's loans. The loans are low interest financing with good terms. There's the federal direct loan, which there's a few different types of direct loans. There's the subsidized loan, which is currently at 4.66% interest rate. Subsidized means the government is subsidizing that loan for you while you're in school, so no interest is accruing on it. Then there's the unsubsidized loan, which is at 4.66% interest. The difference is the minute you get that payment, that interest is accruing. However, you don't have to repay that loan until you're no longer a student, 6 months after. There is a parent loan, which is at 7.21% interest. That is a loan that the parent can take out on behalf of the student. There's no 30-day wait. It's, hassle-free. It's just a matter of going online to the government's website and filling out the online application. We also offer interest-free short-term and emergency loans. These are for students who are currently attending and maybe they need to borrow a quick $500 and they're working but they're not going to get their paycheck for a couple of weeks. So they're basically getting an advance on their paycheck. We also offer computer loans, so students can purchase a computer. We offer up to $1,900. The various types of grants that we offer federal Pell Grant and SEOG. We have state grants, the Cal Grant, the Middle Class Scholarship, and then we have a variety of university grants. For example, we've got the Blue and Gold Opportunity Plan. We have the Aggie Grant Plan that's offered to middle-income families. And then you can get more information on both of those from our website. What type of services does our office offer? We offer quality, confidential customer service. We have a front desk that you can come to and you can ask our very qualified staff questions about your financial aid. We have phones so you can call us, or there's the student portal if you want to email our office your question. We also offer drop-in advising. So if you have a more personal in nature question that you don't really feel comfortable asking at our front desk for everybody else in line to hear, you can request to meet with one of our drop-in advisors and they'll take you into the office and you'll be able to talk one-on-one in a confidential setting. We also review unusual circumstances and appeals. So, for example, an unusual circumstance may be when you fill out your financial aid application, it's based on your 2014 financial information, but maybe mom or dad got laid off, so in 2015 their income will be lower. We can reevaluate your financial aid based on that. Once we have put together a financial aid package for you, you will be able to view it online, which is called your My Awards. This is your personalized and convenient online financial aid notice. This is where you can accept your financial aid awards. It's where you can view and complete any requirements that you may need to satisfy to get your financial aid. And this is where you can report any additional outside resources, such as any outside scholarships or fee waivers that you might be receiving. We also have resources available for you on our website. We have a financial literacy information and budgeting tool, and you can find that located at financialaid.ucdavis.edu/tools/literacy. We have Cash Course Budgeting and Financial Advice, and again, that's at cashcourse.org. We have money management guides to help plan your budget, to help you with money saving tips. It is an online money management tool. It'll allow you to put in what your quarterly costs are and maybe how much financial aid you're getting for the quarter and what other expenses you have to help you see if you're going to have enough financial aid to meet your needs each quarter. The people in our office, we're a very diverse staff of caring, approachable individuals who will go the extra mile for you to provide you with quality customer service. We're multilingual. We have French, Hindi, Mandarin, Punjabi, Urdu, Spanish, Vietnamese, Farsi, just to mention a few of the languages that staff in our office speak. Some of the upcoming outreach events, Cash for College, you can actually get help completing your FAFSA or DREAM Act application. If you want to know where these events are being held, go to calgrants.org and they will have a list of the high schools that are sponsoring the different Cash for Colleges. Maybe your high school is one of those that is hosting one of the Cash for College events. We also will have Financial Aid Awareness Week. This is where you can learn about resources available to you to help pay for college and to get help completing your FAFSA or DREAM Act application. That event will be February 17th through the 19th, and we will have information on that on our website, financialaid.ucdavis.edu. So what now? File between January 1 and March 2nd so you can have the fullest consideration of financial aid possible. Make sure that you complete the FAFSA at fafsa.gov, or you complete the DREAM Act application at dream.csac.ca.gov. You also want to make sure that you have your high school complete the Cal Grant GPA verification form, which you can download from csac.ca.gov. And then, of course, you're applying to UC Davis, so you want to make sure that you put your the Davis school code on your FAFSA or DREAM Act application so we can get your information and put together a financial aid package. And that school code, ours, is 001313. So that is our presentation for financial aid. Thank you very much for attending and watching this broadcast. If you have any questions at all, I encourage you to go ahead and type those in now. I will leave this information up, which has our address and our website, our office hours, our phone number. It also has the contact information for our undergraduate and prestigious scholarship office, so if you have specific questions, you can contact them as well. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and answer questions. Okay, so the first question is it true that I will know what my expected family contribution is after filling out the FAFSA? Yes, it is true. Once you submit your FAFSA, you will have a confirmation at the top or on the screen, and it will tell you what your expected family contribution is. Now keep in mind that the federal processor does randomly select students for a process called verification. If you are selected for that, that basically means that the school that you're going to attend has to further verify your FAFSA information by looking at your parents' taxes and all that. So if there's any changes made, that expected family contribution could change. The next question is, can you elaborate on the middle class scholarship? This is a brand new program that the California Student Aid Commission has come out with. Basically, families who have total income up to $150,000 may qualify for the middle class scholarship. And it does take into consideration any other grant money, whether it's federal Pell or SEOG or any institutional grant money that you get. The middle class scholarship covers a certain percentage of the system-wide fees. You can obtain more information by going out to csac.ca.gov on the middle class scholarship program. The next question is there a possibility that my fees can go up every year? Yes, that is always possible. Fees are basically, dictated by the state budget and how much money they're going to give to the UC system. So yes, fees can go up every year. What are the income qualifications for the Blue and Gold plan? The Blue and Gold is for families that have total income up to $80,000. And you must be a California resident, and you must have filed your FAFSA or California DREAM Act application by March 2nd. There's a question asking about Regents scholarships. People want to know more information about that. Basically, again, your application to admissions serves as your application for scholarships. To learn more about Regents scholarships, I would encourage you to go out to the scholarship website or contact the scholarship office. I'm in the undergraduate financial aid office, so I don't really have a lot of information on the actual scholarship, so I would defer you to the scholarship office. What else do I have to do besides fill out a FAFSA to get financial aid from UC Davis? I would say fill out your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application and the Cal Grant GPA verification form. And then once you're admitted to UC Davis, as long as you've done those two things, we will automatically put together a financial aid package for you, and it will be on My Awards. We will email you once your package is ready for you to view. And then if you have any questions on it, you can always feel free to contact our office. How hard is it to pay back my loans after I graduate? Well, normally loans are due, for the student loans, they're due 6 months or 9 months, depending on which loan you receive, after you are no longer a student. Now, if you are having difficulties obtaining work and you think you may have a difficult time making those payments, it will be up to you to contact the lender and work out a repayment plan with them. And that is not a difficult thing to do. They would rather you contact them and work out a payment plan than just simply not pay at all. The parent loan is due 60 days after the final disbursement for the school year has been made. So typically parent loans would go into repayment during the summer of the year that loan was taken out, unless the parent contacts the Federal Borrower Services and makes arrangements to defer their payments. The next question, college costs a lot of money and seems overwhelming. Where do I start when I think about paying for college? It is overwhelming and it is expensive. And the first place that you want to start is with the FAFSA or the DREAM Act application. You want to make sure that you fill that out by March 2nd. Do not miss that March 2nd deadline. Even if your parents have not completed their tax returns yet, fill it out using estimated income. You can use their 2013 tax return to estimate what their income will be in 2014. So you can at least get that FAFSA submitted. Then once they've filed their tax return, you can go in and update it with actual information. The one thing that is really nice is when you fill out your FAFSA, once your parents have actually filed their taxes, you can tell FAFSA to actually retrieve the information electronically from your parents' tax return from the IRS. This is called the IRS Data Retrieval Tool, and you'll definitely want to take advantage of that. My family is not rich, but we make too much money to get a lot of aid. What else can I do to help pay for college? basically every family's financial situation is different. So it all starts with the FAFSA. Once you get your My Awards, your online financial aid notice, if after reviewing it, that doesn't look like it's going to be enough to pay for your college, then I would suggest that you contact the financial aid office and talk to us personally and individually about what other options you might have. Because an option that one family may have may or may not be the same option another family has. How do I apply for scholarships for UC Davis? Again, that is with your admissions application. So when you fill out your admissions application to the UC system, that application also serves as your application for undergraduate scholarships. When is the DREAM Act application due, and where can I find the application? The filing period for the DREAM Act is January 1 through March 2nd, and you can find it at csac.ca.gov. Let's see. The next question, am I considered a dependent even if I don't live with my parents? Yes, you are considered a dependent even if you do not live with your parents. You still have to provide your parent financial information. Now, if there is an adverse reason that you are unable to obtain your parent information, then I would advise you contact the colleges that you are applying to. We do have the ability to override dependency status. So if you were to go out to Financial Aid's website and go to the undergraduate area and look at our forms, you would find under our appeals section there is an independent appeal, and that will give you the information that would qualify you to apply for independent status. So if that looks like that might be your situation, I would say look at the different schools that you're applying to, look at the financial aid websites, and even go so far as to call and talk to them to see what their process is. Are parents' assets taken in account for middle class scholarship? No. Scholarships are not, assets are not taken into account for the middle class scholarship. It's just total income. We have a question. I'm a freshman in high school, but what can do now to pay for college? Or is it too early? Well, it's too early because you're still in high school, so you don't really have college expenses or charges right now. So, you know, if you're working part-time now or you plan on working in the summer, you can always save money from your part-time job to kind of help with your expenses when you do go to college. But make sure you fill out that FAFSA so you can see what type of aid you're eligible to receive. Is there any advantage to filling both the FAFSA and the California DREAM Act application? Well, you can't fill them both out. If you are a resident, a citizen, a permanent resident, then you'll fill out the FAFSA. If you're not eligible, once you log into the FAFSA, if you're not eligible to fill out the FAFSA, then you will want to fill out the California DREAM Act application. The DREAM Act application would be for families that meet the California AB 540. It's for undocumented families that would not be eligible to fill out the FAFSA. Let's see. Could you name some merit-based scholarships that are the most prestigious, and do I need to apply for these? So again, your application to admissions is your application to scholarships for all UC Davis or all UC scholarships. So whatever you see you're listing on your admissions application, that application will be evaluated for all merit and need-based scholarships. So one of the prestigious scholarships would be the Regents Scholarship. To get an idea of other scholarships, you would want to go out and look at the scholarship website. How should I prove that I am a California resident? What happens when you fill out the FAFSA is basically you will state whether you are a California resident or not. It's really up to you to say yes you are or no you're not. But our registrar's office, if they determine that you're not a California resident based on paperwork that you have to submit to them, that is actually what will determine whether you are being charged in-state tuition or if you are going to also be charged the non-resident tuition. And then your financial aid package would be adjusted accordingly. Do I need to be offered a loan in order to get work study? I heard that you can only do work study if you are offered, I'm guessing that's a loan. No, they don't go hand in hand. So they are two completely separate awards. So, for example, here at Davis, we offer all students loans. And if you qualify for work study, then you may be offered work study as well. So you can be offered loans and work study. You could be offered loans only and maybe not work study if you don't qualify. So they don't go hand in hand. If I could come to UC Davis, how do I find out about the financial aid that I get? Well, if you come to UC Davis, come by our office located on the first floor of Dutton Hall. Without filling out a FAFSA or a DREAM Act application, it would be really difficult for our office to be able to tell you what type of financial aid package you may be eligible for, because your package is based off of all the information that's gathered on the FAFSA or the DREAM Act application. So I would say, if you want to know, don't come tomorrow because we wouldn't have your FAFSA yet. You haven't been admitted yet. There are tools. If you go out to our website, there's tools that you can get estimates. There's a financial aid estimator, and that would be out on the financial aid website. That may even be a link at the bottom of the screen that you're looking at. So if you scroll to the bottom, you can see the financial aid estimator. What will happen if I miss the March 2nd deadline? We will still put together a financial aid package for you. But let's say if you had filed on time, maybe you would have been eligible to receive $13,000 in university grant money. This is free money that UC Davis will give you. You don't have to pay back. If you were to miss that March 2nd deadline, you would not be able to get that $13,000 in grant money because we would have already ran out. So it's very crucial that you fill out your FAFSA between January 1 and March 2nd because it could be the difference of a lot of free money for you, and you don't want to miss out on that. And also, if you're eligible for Cal Grant, which is a grant from the California Student Aid Commission, if you don't fill out your FAFSA and the GPA verification by March 2nd, again, that could be close to $13,000 in free money that you could be potentially missing out on. Another question, any guidelines for what GPA and test scores you need to receive a merit? I believe you have to have at least a 3.0 GPA in order to be in the consideration for a merit-based scholarship. Does the $13,896 tuition fee cover one semester or 1 year? That's for the year. So that $13,000 is for the year. What will I get? Or will I get less financial aid as a transfer student? Is there a cap? No, transfer students are basically The formula is the same. It doesn't matter if you're an entering freshman, a transfer student, or a continuing student. We basically take what your cost of attendance is, so whether you're living on campus or off campus or living at home, and what your expected family contribution is, and then we put together your financial aid package. So it doesn't matter if you're a transfer student. The difference, I will say, for transfer students is at the community college, a transfer student may be receiving a BOG fee waiver. At the four-year institutions, so CSU and UC, there is no BOG fee waiver. So your fees are being paid for with the financial aid that you're receiving. There isn't a BOG waiver. If I do not live too far away, do I still have to pay for transportation fees? Well, you're not really paying for transportation fees. We put transportation in the budget to help us determine how much financial aid you're eligible for. So we acknowledge that there's certain things that cost a student in their overall budget. And one of those costs may be transportation. So maybe you want to go home once a quarter. That's a cost associated to transportation. So we want to use that in your budget to help come up with a figure that you're eligible for overall for financial aid. Do I need to fill out the FAFSA every year? Yes, you do. Every year you want to fill out the FAFSA between January 1 and March 2nd. Let's see. I've heard that there are different types of student jobs that can help me pay for college. What are the options for jobs? There are a wide variety of jobs. Here at UC Davis, we have a student employment center, and there is an online website, Student Employment Center, and you can get that link again through the financial aid office. And you can search for the jobs that are available on campus, and they range anywhere from working in our office. We have a lot of students working in the admissions, the registrars, the bookstore, our student-ran coffee house, labs, plants, animals. There's just a wide variety of jobs on campus. And on that website, there's also off-campus jobs. So there's a lot of employers within the community. We're close to the Sacramento, which is where the state capital is. So there's a lot of jobs working with the state. So that can help you with, you know, any part-time expenses, you know, food, housing, whatever. I'm not sure I can afford to live in a UC Davis dorm. Can I live off campus? Sure you can. There's a lot of apartments in Davis. You can go out to the Housing's website, and I believe they have a link to help you look for these apartments that are in the in Davis, and I think they also have surrounding areas. There's a lot of people that live in Davis that rent rooms out to students. So if you don't want to live in an apartment, maybe you just want to rent a room. So those options are definitely out there for you. When do you start to repay the money you have loaned if you want to go to graduate school? So loans are repayable 6 months after you're no longer a student. So let's say you graduate in June and you've applied to graduate school, but graduate school doesn't start until September. You will have approximately 3 months that you will not be a student, so that 6-month clock is ticking. 3 months out of the 6 have ticked away. Once you start graduate school, you want to make sure that wherever you're attending, they've notified your lender that you're now a student. And those loans go into basically in-school deferment. Now, it is your responsibility to make sure that happens. Some schools require you to fill out an in-school deferment and send it to your lender. So make sure you stay on top of that. And keep in mind that that 6-month period is ticking away until your in-school deferment has been processed. So if for any reason it's not processed, you will go into repayment. Will my aid be decreased if I have outside private scholarships? Yes, the way it works at Davis is we basically expect all students to contribute approximately $9,000 towards their education. And that basically is it's actually $8,500. It's $5,000 in loans, and this is what it is for this year. It might be different next year. So we offer all students $5,000 in loan, and then we expect them to come up with $3,500. So if you get outside scholarships, we will reduce your loans or basically your expectation, your $3,500. The last resort that we'll take from you is any free money that we're offering you. So any institutional scholarships that the university's offering you or any grant money that we're offering you, we won't take that away unless your scholarships exceed the loans and the self-help that we're offering. So typically students don't receive more than the $8,500, so it typically doesn't affect the money that we're offering. What should I be doing to look for scholarships and grants outside of money from UC Davis? So as far as grants go, that's all going to come from Davis. Scholarships are the only thing outside that you would be looking for. I would really strongly advise that you go out to the scholarship website. They do have a search engine that lists tons. There's thousands and thousands of outside scholarships. It's just a matter of you going out there and researching them, writing essays, submitting your application. Work with your local high school or your local community college. They will also have resources for you. What are the different types of grants available? It's hard to say. The grants are dependent upon your expected family contribution. You may or may not be eligible for federal Pell Grant or SEOG or the campus's grant money. Those funds are all dependent upon what the expected family contribution is. Is living on campus more expensive than living off campus? Yes, it is. For example, the total budget for a student this year living on campus is approximately $33,000. That includes tuition, the dorms, the meal plan, your books, your health, your transportation, all of that. For a student living off campus, it's approximately $28,000. So there is a difference. But your financial aid is going to be comparable to what your cost is. As an undocumented student, is there any financial aid I can apply for? Yes, as an undocumented student, you'll want to fill out the California application, DREAM Act application on the CSAC website. You are eligible for Cal Grants as long as you submit the GPA verification form, and you're eligible for institutional grant money. So definitely fill out the DREAM Act application. I'm going to be visiting UC Davis. Do I need to make an appointment to talk to someone in the financial aid office? No. As long as you show up Monday through Friday between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., you can just come in, go to our front counter, and our staff is more than happy to help you. So no appointment is necessary. When do I hear how much money I get from UC Davis? So what happens is once you're admitted to UC Davis, we will put together a financial aid package. We will send you an email, and we will let you know what your financial aid package is. So you'll find out once you're admitted to Davis. Usually you find out at the same time. Sometimes it may be within 1 to 2 weeks you'll find out. I would say if you have not received an email from our office within a month of the time you've been admitted, then contact our office. That means either we did not receive your FAFSA Or maybe there was a problem with your FAFSA and we cannot put together a package for you. So within 1 month from the time you've been admitted, if you haven't heard from us, you contact us and then we can do a little research. Do I have to submit a separate application for the Blue and Gold plan? No, you do not. Submit your FAFSA and we will evaluate it to see if you're eligible for Blue and Gold, and we will award your aid accordingly. Who submits the GPA verification form to your office? The GPA verification form is completed by either your high school or your community college, and they are the ones that submit it to the California Student Aid Commission. Can I get financial aid for studying abroad? What about summer school? Great questions. Yes, you can get financial aid to study abroad, and you can get financial aid for summer school. I will say summer school financial aid is very limited. We don't have the same pot of money that we have during the academic year. So the bulk of the financial aid for the summer is loan that you may not have used during the academic year. There is a small grant pot of grant money, but it's usually pretty tiny. And then as far as abroad goes, you basically get to take advantage of the same aid that you have for the quarter as if you were staying here on campus, although the abroad budgets are usually a little higher than the budget that you would have here for the quarter. So there are different funding options. Usually it's loans. Sometimes there might be a small abroad scholarship, but you definitely will have some funding. Do I get extra aid as a veteran? If you have applied for either a CalVet fee waiver or you're eligible for veteran benefits, your aid package will potentially vary. It depends on what type of resource as a veteran or the dependent of a veteran you're receiving will depend what your financial aid package looks like. What if my parents decide they didn't want to file taxes? If your parents are required to file taxes, and required meaning by the IRS, and they choose not to file taxes, then you would not be eligible to receive financial aid, because part of the process is you have to put in what your parents' tax information is. So if they don't file taxes, then it would be very difficult to complete the FAFSA. And if you're selected for verification, you actually have to provide tax information. You would not be eligible to get financial aid. Doesn't matter how early I submit the FAFSA. For the UC system, as long as you file it between January 1 and March 2nd, it doesn't matter where in that time frame you file. We treat everybody who filed between January 1 and March 2nd the same. So we throw everybody into one pot and everybody gets packaged. So it's not like if you file January 1, you're going to get better money than if you wait until March 2nd. I would encourage you not to wait until March 2nd, because anything could happen. What if your computer dies and now you can't submit your application, or something happens? Don't wait till the last minute. File it as early as possible. Can I get work study my freshman year? Normally we do not offer work study to freshmen, because it has been our experience that freshmen typically choose not to work their freshman year, their first year. You're really needing to get adjusted to your new campus life. You've moved away from home for the first time, so there might be a little bit of parent withdrawal or a little bit of newfound freedom. So, mom or dad isn't there to tell you it's time to go do your homework. You're kind of on your own. So you really need to get grounded, and you need to get your study skills and your study habits dialed down. So we don't normally offer freshmen. That's not to say if you find that you're able to work and you qualify and you have an employer that wants to hire you, you can certainly come in and talk to us about your eligibility. How expensive is it to live in Davis? It really depends on whether or not you're going to have roommates, how many roommates you have. I mean, on average, students can pay anywhere from $300 a month in rent to $600, maybe $900. Again, it depends on the apartment complex, how many roommates you have. Is UC Davis cheaper or more expensive than other UCs? Well, the tuition is the same for all UCs. Where you're going to see differences is in the cost of living. It costs more money to live in the Bay Area, so UC Berkeley may cost more to attend because the cost of living is more. Same with maybe LA. The cost of living is more, but Santa Cruz, the cost of living is probably less. So our fees are the same. Where it's going to come different is the cost of living. And you can actually go out to the various UC financial aid websites, and we have our budgets posted out there. So you can kind of see the differences. But keep in mind, your financial aid packages are going to be set according to that UC. So it doesn't matter if LA is more expensive than Davis, your financial aid package is going to be comparable based on that school. What can I do to keep the amount of loans I need down? Well, to keep the amount of loans down, it may involve working during the summer and saving money to use during the academic year. It may mean you have to work maybe 10 to 12 hours during the school year. It may mean you have to cut down on some of the things you enjoy doing. Maybe you don't get to go to the movies every Friday night, or maybe you don't get to go shopping to buy new clothes often. It might mean you have to cut down on your budget and things that you are maybe accustomed to doing. Even if you do not meet the requirements for financial-based scholarships, are you required to file the FAFSA? I would say everybody should fill out a FAFSA. Whether you meet scholarship requirements or you meet financial requirements, anything can happen during the year. We talked earlier about unusual circumstances, and we see this a lot. Mom and dad work, and they make a lot of money in 2014, and that is the information that you have to use on your FAFSA. But mom or dad gets laid off. Now suddenly they have half the income, but you never filled out the FAFSA. Now you're faced with, family income less, and you need help. And now you fill out the FAFSA, and it's after March 2nd, and maybe you would have qualified for a lot of grant money, but because it's after March 2nd, now you don't. So I recommend that everybody, no matter what your financial backing is, fill out the FAFSA just in case. Why do I have to verify my GPA for the Cal Grant? That's one of the requirements that the California Student Aid Commission has. You have to meet certain income requirements, and you have to meet certain GPA requirements. You either have to meet a 2.0 for a Cal Grant B, or you have to meet a 3.0 for a Cal Grant A. The Cal Grant B has its own set of income requirements, and then the Cal Grant A has their own set of income requirements. So the California Student Aid Commission basically says, if you want to be considered for a Cal Grant, you fill out the FAFSA or DREAM Act application, and you submit the GPA verification form. Do you ever see the money for the housing, tuition, etc., or does it automatically go to where it will be used? So what happens is you are charged quarterly. If you come to Davis, you're charged quarterly for your tuition, and you're charged, if you live on campus, you're charged quarterly for your housing fees. If you're receiving financial aid, we take the amount of financial aid that you're eligible for that quarter, and we apply it to your student account. And it will pay your tuition and it will pay your housing. If you have more financial aid than what you owe for tuition and housing, then you will receive either a direct deposit to your bank account or a check for the amount that is over what you owe the university. If you receive less financial aid than what you owe the university, then you will receive a bill from the university that tells you you still owe $500 or you still owe $1,000. What if my parents do not know their 2014 income? Could they just do their current income for the past few months? If your parents, because most parents don't file their taxes until closer to the April 15th deadline, so what we suggest you do is if their 2014 income is roughly the same as their 2013, grab their 2013 federal tax return and fill out your FAFSA using that. The FAFSA will ask you, are you providing them with estimated income or are you providing them with actual income? So you'll say you're using estimated income. Then once your parents file their taxes, you'll go back into your FAFSA and then do the data retrieval tool. That way, your parents' actual information can be retrieved from the IRS website. Are there performing arts scholarships available to students in non-performing arts majors? Danica, that's a very good question. I really don't know. I would say contact the scholarships office. If I choose to live on campus, will my aid decrease? No, the budget for a student living on campus is more than the budget for a student living off campus. So your potential to receive more financial aid if you're living on campus, but again, it depends on what your expected family contribution is. If I choose, that was the one I just answered. Can I get work study as a first-year transfer student? Yes, you can. First-year transfer students are usually eligible for work study because we know that you've already experienced college, although typically community colleges are semester and we are a quarter school, so there are some adjustments for transfers, but maybe not quite to the same level as a student coming out of high school. How can I establish myself as a student independent from my parents? Again, when you're filling out the FAFSA or the DREAM Act application, there's a series of questions that they ask you that determine your dependency. If you cannot answer no to any of those questions, then you cannot be considered an independent student. You have to be considered dependent upon your parents. Whether they claim you on their tax return or not, you are considered a dependent student. Typically, if you are under the age of 24, you're automatically considered a dependent student. So, yeah. If college costs so much, how do I know a UC Davis education will help me get a job after I graduate? Well, normally your chances of getting a better paying job are if you go to college than if you don't go to college. Of course, there's no guarantees that once you graduate, you're going to get a $200,000 a year paying job. but you do have a better chance of getting a good paying job if you are if you attend college. And we do have a career center, and they help you with looking for jobs when you get close to graduating. They help you with resumes, they help you with interview skills, they will help you find internships. So everybody should be able to find employment after graduating. After completing my FAFSA, I was notified that I only qualified for a federal loan. Does this mean that this is the only type? How do you see that? Oh, is this the only type of aid I can expect? Basically, the FAFSA is telling you approximately what type of federal aid you can receive. It's not telling you what type of money you might receive from the actual college that you're applying to. So the college will then take your FAFSA, take your expected family contribution, and they will look at what type of aid between the federal government and from their own school, what kind of money they can put together for you. And that's what you'll see when you log into your online financial aid notice. Will I get more aid if I have a high GPA? Not necessarily. If you have a high GPA, which every student that applies to UC, everybody has a high GPA. That's why you're accepted to the school. You may receive more free money because maybe you get a scholarship. But basically, your financial aid package is based off of the expected family contribution and the cost of attendance, not necessarily your GPA. I want to transfer to UC Davis, but the UC cost so much more than my community college. Do you have resources specifically for transfer students? We don't have resources specifically for transfer students. Yes, the cost is more expensive at the UC, but your budget is higher, and we have more financial aid that we offer. So at the community college, the fees are less, the budget is less, they have the BOG fee waiver, so you do receive less financial aid. But since your budget is more, then you would be eligible for more financial aid to help you pay for those fees. I am a foster child. What should I do to qualify for more financial aid? As a foster child, if you are legally in the foster care system, so you have court documents that say you are a ward of the court and you are in foster care, when you're filling out your FAFSA or DREAM application, you will answer yes to the foster care question. That will automatically make you an independent student, which will pretty much make your expected family contribution probably low, and you would be eligible for quite a bit of financial aid. Once you get your financial aid package, if you have questions or it's not quite what you think or you're not sure if you can still afford, at that point I would say talk to the financial aid office. So we're down to only a couple minutes left, so we'll probably only be able to do a couple more questions. So I've heard my loans can be deferred after college. If I take a public service job after I graduate, is that true? You would want to contact the lender and talk to them about loan forgiveness. It is true that some careers, depending on what you go into, if they're public service, you could potentially get your loan forgiven. It's possible that won't happen until 10 years into that public service. The government wants to make sure that you're working in that field for a certain amount of time before they say, you don't have to repay your loans to us. So you'll want to contact the lender. And we are on our last question. Does the financial aid department have any social media accounts where we can ask your staff questions? We do have, we have an online email that you can go to, or you can go to the student portal and you can email questions through the student portal. You can also follow us on Twitter, and with that, I would like to say thank you very much for joining us. I hope you were able to walk away with some very good information, and if not, you have our website, you have our phone number, you have our address. Please feel free to come in or call or email. Thank you.